I'm going to read from Powell's script before I read from my own. Hello, and thank you for coming to tonight's event. Please take this moment to silence your cell phones. Before we begin, I want to let you know that you can always keep up with who's coming to all our Powells stores by looking at our events calendar, which can be found at info desks here at the store or online at powells.com. Some of the great readings we have coming up include evenings with local historian Phil Stanford tomorrow night, Kelly Sue DeConnick in conversation with Lydia Yuknovich and Chelsea Kane. I'm going to be there. Saturday at 2. And local author Kelly Williams Brown is here on the 15th. You can read about those and many others on our website. And remember to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram for news, photos, and details about everything happening in our stores. And now I'm going to take out the thing I've been sitting on all day. Twice today, Brad Rosen said to me, "Don't fuck it." Bradley K. Rosen holds a Bachelor of Music from the University of Oregon. He spent 25 years as a professional rock musician before settling down in Portland, and he still plays drums in local rock groups and percussion with 2 community orchestras. He is currently writing his second novel, which features Ginger the taxidermy cat. Brad's work may be found in The Frozen Moment, The Portland Review, and the new hit anthology from Forest Avenue Press, City of Weird, which you can pick up right here tonight. In my 25 years at Powells, this is the only time I ask the powers that be if I could introduce the author. I sat next to Brad in Tom Spanbauer's Dangerous Writing Workshop every Thursday for 4 years. It was my great joy, my privilege, to be in such propinquity, shoulder to shoulder, with a writer of Brad's unique voice and talent, and most of all, of heart. In fact, Brad is one of the very few people I know that I've ever met that I can say has a heart of gold. If you know him, you know this is true. And when I say heart of gold, I hear many of you saying, "Unpack it." What I mean is, Brad has empathy, he loves humanity, and he loves us humans. He supports the artist and everyone he knows. He loves you all. And face it, you all love Brad. As for his writing, there is no one like Bradley K. Rosen. And there's no book like Bunkie Spills. Every week as Brad would bring his pages to the workshop, I had to ask myself 2 questions. First, the writer in me would ask, how does he do this? Specifically, how does he form sentences? How does he even make words like this? And what can I learn from this? The second question is like the first, but completely rhetorical. How does he do this? How the hell does Brad do this? This is a question without an answer. So like everyone else in the writing group, I shrug my metaphorical shoulders and hold on tight for the ride. Tonight's event, back to the script. Tonight's event also includes an audience Q&A if you have questions for the author. Are you already scheming? Then he'll be up here to sign books at this table to my left. We ask that you line up on the west side of the room. When that time comes, you can have your books signed and then pay for them downstairs after they're signed. Please welcome Bradley K. Rosen.
wouldn't do that if it wasn't. It's in the book. He plays the harmonica a lot. He said there's a passage that says, I think a lot while I walk and I play harmonica, and when I play harmonica, I think and walk oh wait, I forget how it goes. I was looking for it and I couldn't find it, right? In the coffee shop. I do the craziest things. I was in the bathroom and I did my business, then I washed my hands and I go into that thing where the hot air comes out. I'm like, this is the last time we're going to use this hot air thing before you read at Powell's. Crazy. Anyways, I can't believe you guys all are here. I love you guys all so much. I mean it. It's like my fucking family's here. So these kids. This podium is like a dream of mine. I played the Fillmore and I played Red Rocks, and this is like, it's huge, it's big, it's like my dream. So, and I tried to find out who made this thing, because I'm a craftsman, and I can't find it. I don't know, the people are on vacation or something. So anyway, we should find out. Somebody should write a little short story about it. Anyways, I got a bunch of thank yous I got to get out of the way, because I have to, okay? So let's do that real quick. Thank you, Doug. Where are you? That was really cool. I would have said that first, except for I had to play the harmonica. Where'd it go? He did sit next to me for all those years, and we were like the best pals, and he still sits next to me, but now he sits 2 seats down. Anyways, I love him. Thank you guys for coming. Thanks to Powells for this opportunity, for letting me read here and for stocking on my book. It's just a dream come true. It's my dad's dream come true. It's just huge to me. It's, it's like the Mecca. So, okay, get that one out. Thank you, Small Doggies Present, Manny and Carrie. Coming up to hit it last Monday, and they do so much for our community, and you guys already know Nailed, and so if you haven't, check it out. There might be a few people that haven't heard of Nailed magazine, but check it out, and what they do for our community is just amazing and so great. Thank you guys for that, and thank you for publishing my book. Adam Strong is filming. Thank you for that. And thank you for my artist photo in my book. Adam took that picture. It's a pretty good one. And since we're filming, I got to thank my mom. Jack, my pop and Karen, couldn't be here, my brother Bub, and his beautiful wife Rhoda, and my sister Stacy Ann. I love you guys. And my family for putting me, all them for putting up with me when I was younger. Anyways, my 2 sons, Michael and Avery. Where's Michael? Eugene. Grow up from Eugene here. Thank you, Mike. He's graduating next week. He's physics. He's walking. He's running to the world. Anyways, and my granddaughter's coming in a week, but I shouldn't say that. I have to hang out with her for a week. And Mike's mom, Cynthia. My partner, roommate for all these years, and thank you for everything for you've done for me. My partner. We do it together. And my music family and my fair family that are all here, and you guys are all big. And then is Kelly Irwin here? Where is she? This lady right here. She grew up 3 blocks from where a lot of this book takes place. I've known her over 40 years. Thank you so much. And her sister, Patty. It's either Libby or Patty or Lisa. So anyway, when she reads this book, she's gonna freak out because there's a lot And her family took me in for a summer when I was having some difficulty, and thank you. I gotta thank my docs, and I'm not gonna get all into it, but the docs and my nurses, OHSU, wizards and angels. My donor, gonna be my donation. And then my literary tribe, Chuck and Jerry and Tom for the beautiful blurbs. I can't believe, Chuck Palahniuk likes my writing. Pinch me, I gotta like him. I gotta give really heartfelt thanks to Colin Barstead. Where's he at? So, in the very beginning of this, you have no idea how much time he put into this book. I mean, really, we spent hours and hours and just hanging out because we're great friends anyways, but I mean, he went over the top. Yeah, he really helped me a lot, and we got some packs, and hopefully I'll stick to, we won't. Anyway, thank you, Bill. I love you, buddy. I love you. Let's see here, where was I? Okay, Sage is not here, couldn't be here, but he's the heart of this. He gave me some great heart, and already said Adam. The Gongers. I love my Gongers are here. A lot of you don't know what that. Yeah. Anyways, that's awesome. And the table, the Dangerous Riders. There's a whole list in this book. I'm not going to name right now. It's too many things. But I love you guys. Past, present, future Dangerous Riders. And that table I saw it a couple days ago, and it's still down there. Hasn't changed. The magic. I mean, this book right here is our book. It basically is. All you got. Okay, now, most important, you guys know this comes. Anyways, I got to thank Tom Spanbauer. And I know he would have been here, and he said he was going to be, but he's having a real rough time right now. And I can't really say how much we love him, everybody and me, how important he was to this book. I mean, anyways. So there's no words. So I want to do something, and it's kind of, Tom would say it's purple. He'd say kumbaya, motherfucker, or something like that. But I want to do it anyways. So, and I can do it because it's my moment. So you guys heard of this, the moment of silence, right? Like when you're at a football game and something bad happens, like a train wreck or something. So I want to do that, but I don't want to have it like sad. I want to do it like, okay, close your eyes and think a happy thought. Okay, like Peter Pan, get fucking all Peter Pan on it, okay? Happy, like, it could be about Tom, it could be about like your baby or anything. The Cubs winning the World Series, I don't care, anything. Get that thought in your head and then get your thought about Tom. Like picture him in your head. And if you don't know, he's kind of tall, he's got a mustache, he's got a Roman nose, really suave, debonair, he's a good dancer. Use your writing muscles. And then think of Tom, then get your happy thought, and then get Tom, and then start putting them all together and mixing them up, pushing them all together. And then when we get it all together, then I'm going to count to 3 and we're going to scream and yell and cheer. We're going to throw it out in the air and maybe we can make Tom smile. Okay? Is that good? Please, you guys help me do that? Okay, I don't know how to signal a happy thought. Just do it, ready? Okay, a moment of happy thoughts. Okay. 1, 2, 3. pressure up here. So I was at Jenny Forrester's reading a couple weeks ago, mostly to see Jenny, but also to see how she did it. And I've been on many of these. Been a bunch of these. No, I have been a bunch. I love this thing. Anyways, she read a bunch of excerpts, so that's what I'm going to do rather than read the chapter. So here it goes. This is the first page. There's a preface, but that was Colin's idea, so no, it's good. It's good. And this is the very first. It was 1976, the year of our bicentennial, summer, Southern California, out in the east suburbs of the big Los Angeles. Oh my God, I cried earlier today reading this. Up against the foothills, blue skies in the morning before the smog set in. The smog that got thick enough to turn the sun red in the afternoons when the wind didn't blow much and the air's got sitting around in one place a whole lot longer than it ever should have. Sometimes when it's smog like that, you can see the ridgelines of the mountains. And the mountains, they was close and they was tall, 10,000 feet tall. But mostly it was a beautiful place to live, and we loved our little town, and it took a certain amount of pride in being able to call a place like that our home. I was up in the Adams earlier that day because it was one of those days I figured was going to be a little bit more exciting than all the rest. It was payday, and like most everybody else on this dear planet of ours, I always thought that the payday was a good thing, especially this payday. Because this payday was the one was going to push me over the top in all them savings I had done for nearly 6 months. 6 months of scripting and refraining from buying too much weed or beer or cigarettes. 6 months since I first seen the rings glistening silver band with one of them fiery opals that sat in the middle of it at the mall, at the Sears. It was for Evelyn, the ring. The ring that was going to tell her I was going to love her forever. The ring that she was going to wear on her finger to tell everybody that she was going to love me forever too. It was the morning of the middle of my second bowl of Rice Krispies when she called me on the kitchen phone that hung an avocado green on one of the walls. The phone with a long cord that ran far enough that I could sit down on the floor and talk so quiet nobody else but her could hear. When me and Evelyn first got together, me and her used to talk for hours at a time on the phone. It didn't ever matter if we just spent the whole day together. Still, we'd come home and pick up our phones and talk until one of us was falling asleep. Her voice with that little rasp in it, the way she told me she loved me for the first time, and my heart jumped. The way I could smell her even through that long curly phone cord, the sweet cucumber sweat of her cucumber perfume. Evelyn, the colors of her hair, the most sexy thing I ever saw in all my life. A strawberry blonde that mixed together with the tinges of a briefly red like that. It transpired down over her shoulders onto the pale of her 2% grade A homogenized vitamin D milk white skin. Skin so smooth I had a hard time keeping my hands away from it. But I could tell that morning that something happened, that something was different. She told me we needed to talk. And I said, we're talking right now. And she said, no, Emmett, I need to see you. And fuck, I ain't no dummy. Even I knew what kind of talk she was talking about. Truth was, she and me hadn't been having the sex as much as we used to lately. And even when we did, it was like she was off somewhere else. And when we supposedly came together, had our orgasms at the same time, supposedly it come up into my head that her short little sonnets with ecstatic delights weren't for real. She was a good actress, sure, but let's face it, when one person's got one of their genitalia stuck inside of the other's genitalia, that person can tell for sure when a person is lying. And she been lying to me. So I told her we could talk after my work, after I got paid, after I seen for certain that I had enough money to get her that ring. Because after I got her that ring, there was no kind of talk that was going to change anything, nothing, no how. Like I said, she was going to love me forever. Evelyn was the one that was always saying stuff like that, saying about how we was going to grow into our old ages together and how we was going to have a couple of kids running around the house someday. I knew that she still loved me. I thought she was always going to love me. But now she was saying we needed to have a talk. And right then I knew I was gonna have to make things right before they got broke all the way. First things first, we was gonna have a screw again. We was gonna have to have one bang up, spit into the wind, asses to elbows, fuck you, fuck me sexual session. One with real orgasms and everything. Make her remember. This one. Am I supposed to set these up or something? So I was. You guys good?
I need a cigarette.
I had a dream about this. I think. See, Tommy, this is the last time you did that same thing. I had a dream. Anyway, there's an art to being one of those people that stand around a keg. Number one, you got to keep in mind that you're standing around a bunch of drunks. Number two, you have to remember you might be one of them. I've heard people say that patience is a virtue, and I'm not exactly sure I know what that means, but I think I kind of get the gist of it. I hear people saying stuff like that all the time. Stuff like a snitch in time saves nine, and there goes the water under the bridge. I don't like to take a whole lot of time trying to figure those things out. Mostly I just get the general idea. And then I take that meaning into my intelligence, and then I move on. When I heard that saying, patience is a virtue, I just took it to mean that good things come around to those who wait. I didn't have too many places to go at the moment anyways, and the line was short. Jimmy Swafford was the one manning the keg. He was a big dude. All the time the gym teachers at school were trying to get him to join up with the football team. They was always saying how he was big and agile enough to even make it to the colleges. Wide shoulders and trunky legs. I guess you could say that he was a shoo-in for a thing like that. "Where's your cup, Bunk?" he asked me. "I ain't got one yet," I said. "You got a stamp? You need a stamp to get a beer, Bunk." I looked around. Everybody had a little swiggled W on the back of their hand. "How much?" I asked. $5. "Come on, Jimmy, really?" "Shit, Bunkie, I shelled out $58 for it. I gotta get my money back." "How much beer's left?" Jimmy's long, fine blonde hair is in a cascade as he reached over and grabbed the top of the tab and gave it a shake. I could hear the beer rustling around. "Enough," he said. I lied. "Alls I have is $3. "Yeah, you and everybody else," Jimmy Swafford said. I got out my wallet and took out the $3 and I handed it to him, and he stuck them in a slit that was cut into the plastic lid of an MJB coffee can. He pulled a magic marker out of his pocket and he pulled the top off it. "Hold out your hand, Buck," he said. It tickled a little bit when he drew the capital W on the back of my hand. He poured me a beer into one of them red plastic party cups that people like to use. A good pour, just the right amount of foam. I dumped the beer down into me as fast as a person can say a man trapped in a grain silo has always got enough to eat. I held my empty beer cup out to Jimmy again. He pointed behind me. "You gotta wait in line again, Buck." I turned around and looked. There was a couple guys behind me, but they was all up and involved in a conversation. He wasn't even paying attention. I kept my empty cup held out. "Come on, Jimmy," I said. "Fine," he said, "but next time you're gonna have to wait in line." I took the full beer and right away took the 2 steps to get behind them 2 fellas that was jabbering. Took a nice long pull off that cold beer. Some guy was leaping over the flames of the bonfire out in the yard. I couldn't help to wish for the idiot to catch his asshole on fire. I finished the rest of my beer. Was up to the front of the line again by then. Held my empty cup up to Jimmy Swafford. Some girl had joined in with that fella jumping over the fire. They would get so they were far back enough to get a momentous running start. And then they would hold each other's hands and jump over the fire together. Jimmy looked at me funny. "I'm not going to wait in no line," I said. "There is no line." Jimmy handed me another full beer. "Watch yourself, Bunk," he said. I knew what he was saying without him having to go into great detail. He was keeping an eye out on my reputation. He didn't want me to start spilling my beers. I was always spilling my beers. "You only child?" I asked Jimmy Swafford. "I got a sister," he said. "Young or old?" I said. He looked at me and gave me a big locomotive smile. He wasn't going to fall for it. She's 30, asshole, he said. Then he said, where's Evelyn? What the hell, I might as well start with Jimmy Swafford. I think we broke up. Jimmy stopped pouring the beer. His face looked at me incredulous. Them kinds of faces that question the belief that somebody has told you. But you know what? That Jimmy Swafford, he was a real good guy. And he did one of them things a man does when he's trying to help out another fella. Help him out without saying nothing about helping him out. He must have known what it felt like to have your girl stole away from you, because he said the best thing a guy could ever say to you at a time like that. Sorry to hear that, he said. And then he said the very next best thing a guy could say to another in a time like that. Plenty of other fish, he said. And we both knew there wasn't, because they wasn't really fishes, they was women. Okay, how are you doing?
Great.
Thank you guys for listening to me. Oh, I forgot something there during that part. And I was going to clarify it, but I forgot what it was. Taking a while to find it, so just forget it. Did I tell you guys I fucking love you all? I can't believe how this writing community is so tight and loving, and I mean, I don't even know it all. There's like other things of it out there that I want to get into, and because it's so fucking great here. It really is amazing, and I love you guys all, everybody. Yep. You guys think I was trying to get some more applause? Here's the sexy one. This is a pretty good one. You know, I think I read those other two at Burnt Tongue or something, but I don't know. I can't remember. Did I, Donnie?
One of them, for sure.
We're not applauding because we start mesmerized.
I love you guys. I forgot. Oh, thank goodness. I was going to say God. Goodness for Powell's book. And thanks for having me. I mean, this is the dream come true. I mean, anyway. Okay. Me lying naked on Evelyn's bed. Spread eagles, all in a wait for Evelyn to come out of the bathroom and give me the paint. She walked out of the bathroom where, is there kids here?
They knew what they were getting into.
They don't understand.
Sorry, just asked your book was a kid book.
Got earplugs? She walked out of the bathroom wearing one of them sheer white teddies. Her nipples showing through, her white cotton panties peeking out every time she took a step. Her strawberry blonde hair long and relaxed over her shoulders, the dirty water of the lake eyes. The paint, that's what we called it. Evelyn, she was the one who come up with the idea. The brushes and the paint sitting on a little table next to the bed, little thin brushes that got wider in increments. The biggest one was 1 inch wide. You could cover a lot of ground with that one. Our bodies was our naked canvases. There was no rules to what you painted. You could spell out a poem, or you could trace fire around boobs and nipples, or you could paint. Michael, how am I going to do this? Michael, cover your ears! Or you could paint pictures of bunnies and funny little alien creatures. You had to have a lot of privacy to play the paint. You had to be real careful. It was not the kind of thing where you would want somebody's mom to come walking in on it, which happened. By the third time we played the paint, we had it totally down. We had a big sheet of plastic that we'd throw over the whole map. This book is not about me, though. You guys. It's fiction. Easy. Don't be coming up to me in some bar. I don't go to bars much. Don't be coming up to me and saying, well, what about that paint or something like that? You can't ask me either to play the paint, so I just don't play them again. Anyways. Where was I? By the third time we played the paint, we had it totally down. We had a big sheet of plastic that we'd throw over the whole mattress so it wouldn't get paint all over everything. Evelyn had found these kind of water-soluble, non-toxic day-glow colored paints at some craft clown kind of store in the neighborhood. The paint went on and came off easy as sweat flows off a government mule. How about that? The silk SARS tied around my wrist and ankled to the bedposts, waiting to be pulled into a tight tease. The adrenaline coming back around from somewhere deep in the chemistries of my blood. I don't know what the better side of playing the paint was, being the artist or being the canvas. We were so busy tracing nipples and belly buttons and taints, we didn't talk much during the paint, at least not any serious kinds of stuff. We was lying on our backs in the after paint, our temples almost touching, still on the bed, but both of us free and untied. I can't remember who was the painted and who was the painting. I just don't think it really mattered much to either one of us at the point. We was both smeared with pigment, and if any god was looking down on us, I would have said we looked better than dirty rainbows. You know, when 2001 rolls around, I'm going to be 42 years old, I said. 2001, she said. You think I'm still going to be alive then, I said. Fuck you, Evelyn said. We was both smiling, opening and closing our eyes, inhaling and exhaling the life. She turned her body on her side toward me, and she gave my shoulder a playful horse's nip with that little overbite that she had that you would never notice until you had ever been able to sit there and stare at it for a long time. You and your lovely wife and your two bunky-ass kids, she said. I'll be 42 years old, I said. Fuck, can you imagine? Up there in Oregon, on that little farm, Evelyn said, us in our 40s, still playing the paint. That's gonna be weird. I'll just leave right there. And then to read this one little paragraph, and then the keys on the table, the little red knife, the rabbit's foot, looking so pink and furry. Asked him to be picked up and petted. Big Pete's rabbit's foot was akin to that eagle feather he wore on the brim of his hat. Anyway, it was part of some sacred nature, and he was always saying how that rabbit's foot kept us safe and out of trouble more times than he could shake a stick at. He said it was his lucky rabbit's foot. If he seen a cop was behind us on the road, his hand would drop down to that rabbit's foot, and he would start rubbing at it and praying to something that was somewhere within the deepest recesses of his mind. We never, ever got pulled over once when he was driving. Somehow Big Pete's lucky pink rabbit's foot had also gotten to the place where my mom had shown me the difference between right and wrong, reminding me to take things that weren't mine. Reminding me not to take things that weren't mine. Reminded me not to fight, reminded me to keep my elbows off the table. I don't know why that rabbit's foot reminded me to try to be good. Something about Easter and Jesus and church and my mom's furry yellow slippers that she used to shuffle around in almost every morning. I picked that pink foot up, and the keys and the knife that were attached to it, they felt lighter than I thought they would, soft. Felt like I could just sit there and pet it forever. Okay, so now's the surprise part. So, they're lucky rabbit's foot, otherwise they don't get one. So everybody look under their chair, and if you're lucky, you might get a rabbit's foot. Plus I want to see how ridiculous y'all look. Of course they do. Ain't fair. There's only Bunkie gets the pink one. So, how are you doing? Robin, want to talk? What? Where are we? Oh, 7:30? Oh, wow. Okay, a couple questions. Hi, Ben. Ben was the first one that ever read this book besides the table. I trusted him. He did an awesome job. Thanks, Ben. Well, okay, a couple questions. I know you guys all. Oh, I'm supposed to pick. Margaret and Gigi. Oh my God. You guys are gonna ask some kind of good question. Okay. Okay, Gigi. Okay, we'll go.
So, what was your first question? How do you do it?
How do you do it?
How do you do it? It's a real question.
It comes out of me. It just comes out of me like that. I tell you, this one was easy, even though it took 3 drafts. I ran it through the table 3 times. They're so gracious. And the first draft, Margaret was there. I don't know how they even let me get away with it. Because to me, it was so jumbled and stuff. Someday I'll read that at a reading or something, and you guys can see. But you got to start somewhere, and I don't know. They were gracious enough to let me keep going, right, Gigi? And Tom's, but he has a way of just encouragement and everything good from everybody. So that was it, I guess. Margaret? You still have your hand?
Oh, yeah. So I'm curious, first of all, the first draft was awesome. Okay. B, totally different question. So you're a musician. You were a musician first. And your writing is very musical and very rhythmic. And I'm curious if you could talk about the difference for you, creating music versus writing. When you do those 2 things. What's
Good
different?
question. Did everybody hear Margaret's question? I'm supposed to repeat it. I learned it, but you guys didn't already hear it on set up, right?
No, repeat
You
it.
ever know what the question is? Oh. Margaret's asking me if how are writing and music the same? Kind of?
Creation.
The creation? I don't know. I guess they come from the same part of my brain, as psychiatrists would say, right? Probably. I don't know. Playing drums is different. I think it's more of a discipline, but it's more, it's creative, but I think it's channeling. A lot of it is. For me, playing music is just humanity flowing through me, and I get a lot of that in writing too, I think. It may sound presumptuous or something, but I guess they're both the same because I hear them in my head. And it's like Tom says, it's music to me, so I guess that's good. Over Margaret's question. That's like anything else from me, though. No. I love Margaret. Tree, I'm not going to ask. I'm not going to. Okay, Tree, go ahead.
I have 2 questions, actually.
One, you get one.
Okay, so in 1999, I was with you on a tour in Italy. We saw Adriana, and you were writing a book then. Was that your first stab at writing, or were you a writer back before that? And I just never knew it.
I guess we're too stoned. You were stoned. No, you weren't stoned then. Anyways. It's weird. I found my grade report in 5th grade. I found this later that said, what does he want to do when he's a little boy? And it said creative writing. And I was like, whoa, where did that come from? But I used to read, in a band, crazy. And then I started writing in the band. But nobody ever really saw that stuff except for Junior. I showed Junior at one time and he was like,
That's an endorsement.
No, Junior reads. We all used to read. We read a lot. What else are you going to do? You're on the road for hours and hours and hours, so. Whoa, is that good, Tree?
No, I want more.
Okay, so.
Louis Potts was in that band right there.
The question I had was, these things that you write about that were not about you, when they happened, did you ever think that you would not write about not
See why I only gave her one question? That's true. We love tree. Okay, any more? Couple more. Shannon, another, okay.
I'm gonna ask you a question.
Okay.
I'm wondering how long was this story kicking around inside of you? And when you joined the table, did you already know that you wanted to write this? Like, how did this trajectory go for you, imagine?
Okay, well, good question. It's here. And no, it is a good question. So anybody that's dangerous writers know one of the first assignment is to write something that is different than the change so you're different than the thing that happened before. A moment of change, something that changed you. I had written this thing called Balls, and it's a short story. Someday I'm going to redo it. And that was what I gave to Tom. I said, here, I'm a writer. Here, can I be in your group? And this is good, but he said it has heart. It makes me laugh. And it's funny as heck, but it doesn't make me cry. So he said, you can come in and learn. So I did. And the first thing I wrote was this song in here. It's in here. And there's this, starts out a song. And it just started there, and it just went. I had no idea. This book totally wrote itself. And the table. But really, it wrote itself. It really is its own thing. It's really still amazing to me how it did that to me. And now I'm writing about this fucking cat that has 9 lines. It's killing me. Killing me. Anyways, any other questions? Or can I read one more and we're done? Yeah. How's that? Huh? Okay. This is about Angelina. She's there's 5 characters in this book. It takes place in one night. And, I don't know. Anyways, this is Angelina, about Angelina, kind of. She got up out of her kneel and she come over to me and she put her arms out and around the whole world, same as me. And she bent over and we got chest to chest. The warmth of Angelina into me, the soft of our arms wrapping around each other, muscles tightening firm, our chins sinking into each other's necks. Angelina, she sat down there next to me, in close. She put her arm around my waist, leaned into me. I need your dress, I said. Sometimes Angelina, she could be smart. Not the kind of smart people learn from reading about them Moby Dicks and them Tales of Two Cities. Not that kind of smart at all. She was no math wizard or nothing like that, neither. The kind of smart Angelina was, it was the people kind. That is to say, she was a bunch more human than most people. That's probably why she did as much crying as she did sometimes, and also why she could laugh longer and louder than anybody else I ever knew. Something about the core of her, it come from something pure and untouched. She looked at me with them gray eyes of hers, the pure soft in them, and she stood up next to me and she turned and faced me. And then she crossed her arms in front of her and she grabbed the bottom of her peach-colored baby doll dress and she started to pull it up over her head. Them blue panties, her tummy with the help of a little bit of extra flesh that made her belly button seem to be sunk down deeper into the inside of her. Her complexion, smooth white, buttered, cream, fair, with an occasional freckle, starry night. The white silk of her bra that seemed to hold them big bosoms of hers into some kind of submissions. I stood up and grabbed her hands before she could get the dress all the way up over her head. No, sweetie, I said, not the whole dress, just the bottom part. My hands pulling at the dress, pulling it back down onto her as I sat back down again. I was just trying to make it easier, Angelina said. If there's one thing you is for sure, Angelina, I said, he was never easy. Evelyn had a hold of one of Wayne's hands. She was stroking at the back of it with her thumb. She was looking up at us and her mouth held a smile on it, but her eyes with some worry in them now. I twisted around and grabbed them scissors off the floor, Angelina's dress standing right there in front of me. Hold still, I said, Wayne still laying flat on the ground. I grabbed the bottom of her dress and started cutting a 3-inch strip off the bottom hem of it, my hand brushing against the thickest part of Angelina's thigh. Them scissors sharp, them scissors making the sound scissors do. Angelina turned a slow circle so the scissors could keep cutting all the way around. Angelina pulled her dress up from the top, while I pulled on the bottom to keep the fabric tight, so them scissors wouldn't bind up. Me cutting as Angela gave her slow turns, round and round and round again. Me wanting to cut until them scissors cut everything away and had nowhere else to snip but the thin side of them sky blue panties and elastics back of the white silk bra, until Angelina was standing there naked before me, before all the world. But the real of it was that by the time Angelina completed one full turn, my scissors had taken enough. And the real of it was that Evelyn was kneeling there on the ground, 10 and away, not more than 5 feet away from us.